And it says we're live. How you doing, Steph?
I'm alive. That's all that matters, right?
Glad you made it today. Sorry about last week, man.
My apologies to everybody if you were tuning in for my insights that the traffic did not participate and cooperate last week. So
Yeah, that was awful. You got home
I
like
think
5 minutes after or
yeah,
before I ended the
I think
show.
somebody died, so it was probably not a great situation.
Okay.
It was not a great week for car accidents in Delaware County last week. So, yeah.
All right. Let's say hi to everybody. There's Andy. How are you, Andy? Doug and Andrew. How are you guys? The Game Master's here. James. John, welcome. There's Ben, Sawyer. Man, everyone's coming in early today. How is everybody?
These West Coasters must have those cushy jobs to be able to watch a live stream at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, you should have seen them vote at 4 o'clock in the afternoon for that Seattle event 2 years ago.
yeah, that's very true.
It's like,
They
how
were
are you guys
awfully-
voting? You're supposed to be at work. Oh, that was so funny. Hey, John, how are you? The Raven says, welcome back, Stefan.
Thank you.
And we are
It's
live.
good to be back.
Sawyer says, hit that like button. Hey, guys, that'd be great if you would. And if you want to subscribe, that'd be okay, too. We wouldn't mind that. We're going to recover some of the things that we didn't get to discuss, you and I, last week.
Definitely.
A few new items have popped up. Doug Taylor says, I get off at 4 every day.
Nice,
I'm sure you do, Doug, but those 32 other people you had voting, I'm not sure about them. Oh, man,
There's no 9 to 5 at Amazon apparently out west.
yeah. Oh, Martin from Argentina. Well, thanks for tuning in, my friend. Glad to have you. And Andrew says, hey, that Seattle event turned into an awesome butterfly effect. It did. I'm not complaining.
It sure has. It's been great to get all those folks into
Yep,
there.
it was just hilarious the way you guys went about doing that. I loved it. The Game Master says, we work, and he's in California.
There you go. See?
Martin says, Mamie, I'm the only Argentinian here. Yeah, well, in this chat, I'm pretty sure you are. But I don't know about how many Argentinian players there are.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Is there a big group in Argentina? Do we have is there a local store? Can I put it on my list of places to visit when I go?
Are you going to Argentina?
I would love to go to Argentina. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Look at that. 9 likes already, Game Master says. That's awesome. Man, we're only 3 minutes in. I'm ready to jump on our list of things, but
Let's do it. We got a long list. We better get started. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. Right?
all right. Yeah, we probably would have had a 3-hour episode if
Oh,
you'd
it
have been
was-
here last
yeah,
week.
We probably would have.
And it was good. Martin says there's like 15 players. That's
amazing.
awesome.
I love it.
And a local store. Wow. That's awesome.
Shout them out for us. We'll all get on their website and order some singles.
Singles from Argentina?
Let's do it. Did they publish Overpower originally in different languages? I know starter decks were in Japan for Image and things like that, but that was all English.
I believe
printed,
that's
right?
all. That's just the starters to Japan, and most of them didn't stay there. Most of them came back
Yeah,
to the
most
States.
of them got shipped back. It's very true. Yeah.
That's terrible. That had to be a leadership problem there.
Yeah.
How can you have or an Image superhero game in Japan and you can't sell it all?
Well, I feel like I've heard discussion that people have talked about that it was they felt like those licenses were big enough in Japan to drive interest in the game, and so they shipped all that stuff over there and were hoping it would land, and it just didn't, and
Okay.
they ended up shipping it back. I'm not sure who or what I had that conversation with at some point, but I feel like I've heard that rumor before.
So maybe Image wasn't quite so big in Japan.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. Yeah.
That's interesting. Game Master says you got more in Argentina than he does in California players.
There you go.
That's funny. And he said, Martin says, no, there was none in Spanish. And Raven says he somehow managed to come up with a stack of Japanese starter books.
Or so yeah, the rule books are printed in Japanese, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yep.
right. But the cards weren't. Yep.
And that's probably how they figured they came back from Japan. They didn't
Yeah.
announce it. It just all of a sudden there's Japanese rule books in your image starters.
Yeah, because I don't think the deck boxes. I don't think the boxes look any different. Like they don't have Japanese on them.
I don't
we
believe
have
so.
seen those, yeah.
Martin says, we played in the 90s and we have a few new players. We are waiting for the Invincible cards. We all are, my friend.
Yes.
We all are. Did I hear 2 or 3 different release dates last week? Did you hear any? It was freaking hilarious. I guess originally it was mid-August, which leads me to believe around the 15th. Then I heard it was August 8th, and I don't know where that came from, an internet rumor, but that's a Saturday.
I was gonna say, are any of those Fridays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whatever a regular release day is?
They're both Saturdays. And then Joe said on the Spartan Training Ground yesterday that it might be like the 5th. That's a
Okay.
Wednesday.
That's a Wednesday.
That's
So
a
that
Wednesday.
makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's the date. I can't believe he's throwing out dates, and I can't believe I'm repeating it. But it's so funny that they keep announcing dates. And all right, so August 5th. Now the 8th, I thought if that could be true, and that's the date that they're going to do like release day events.
Sure.
And that would be okay.
Yeah.
It's still odd that your release date is on a Saturday. As Union Arena actually does release events on a Saturday, but they release the product on the Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, pretty much everybody. I don't know anybody that doesn't have a weekday
Yeah, release.
actual release date, right?
Right.
But a Wednesday release date is all. If it's a comic related property, it also makes sense to
Yes.
do. HeroClix releases on Wednesdays.
Right. Every
so,
they always have.
Yes. If that's your property, that makes sense to do that.
Yeah. So a Wednesday release, I'm okay with.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not like they're the only game that requires you to set product back for a future release event. You know, it
Right.
release on a Wednesday, hold some product
Yep.
for Saturday for the release event. Pre-releases are always preferred. I would rather not have to hold product to make sure I have enough
Right.
for that
Most
event.
definitely. Agreed.
But I don't mind doing it. But we shall see. Those are the 3 dates I've heard: the 5th, the 8th, and the 15th.
Yeah, I mean, we need to. Well, eventually, we're going to have to sit down and discuss which weekend we're going to lock in for our release events that we're going to team up and do.
The very first weekend.
You think is that
I
what
wanted,
you're shooting
yes,
for? August?
yes, I think
Okay.
we should. And if they release on the 5th, we can do the 9th and the 10th, or the
And
10th
what
and
happens
the
when
11th.
it's the 15th? We're all just sitting here playing constructed again.
Oh man, if it's, but we'll definitely work that out.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't.
Actually, that's a great week. That first weekend in August is probably a pretty good one. So.
I'd have to look. I don't,
Actually,
is there
that's not
anything-
Gen Con weekend, is it? No, Gen Con's end of July this year, I think.
I think it
I think
is.
it's last weekend in July. this
Yeah.
year. Yep.
And Joe said something about there's a The Hobbit release in August, and he's trying
Yeah.
to get Invincible out before
Ahead
the
of
Magic
that,
event,
yeah,
which is a good idea.
actually, I wouldn't be surprised if 15th is the date for, or 14th is the date for that. And that's middle of August is usually the summer event. So.
Yeah, have they even solicited that yet? I don't think they have, so I can't even go look
No,
at
I don't
a
think
release
I
date.
haven't seen the dates yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen them.
Yes, that would be crazy. Hey, the Traveling Goofs, how are ya? There's Ricky. Game Master says when OP gets bigger, we can start additional language support. Yeah, we will.
That would be very cool. I would love to be able to collect cards in different languages and things like that. So.
Yep. The Goof just finished that podcast that Joe was on. He says it was lit. Okay.
Yeah, I've not had a chance to watch it either yet. It's on in my queue. So.
I listened to it yesterday. I don't remember what I was working on while it was playing, but it was good.
Did they show any art or anything? Did Joe spoil any cards or anything?
No, I don't think there's any. I wasn't watching. I was
gotcha, just
listening,
listening.
but I don't remember there being any art. He did. I think the only thing he spoiled was Cecil from the set can defend frontline players, teammates with allies, which means he can defend up to a 3 with an ally
Yeah.
card from reserve. But he's got a card that's going to allow him to shuffle those cards or put those cards into the debt pile and shuffle them back in. It'll be part of your power pack. Something along those lines.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he did not say too much. Hey, Michael, how are you?
I don't remember that being the playtest, so
I don't remember seeing that either.
that's an interesting mechanic for sure.
Yeah. I would get out my Invincible playtest cards and look through them right now, but I don't know where they are. Fortunately, I did not destroy mine this time. I had not yet when they decided, hey, you're going to need them for Top Cow.
Yeah.
So they don't have to replace mine, but we added a few playtesters, so we're waiting for them to get those guys some cards. Let's see. Andrew says there's an official date release on Spartan as of last night. Spartan Training Grounds dropped yesterday, right? Distro site said 8/1. Game Master says Distro says 8/1 release for. Really? Which one said that? I bet
that would be a Saturday again, though, right?
Would that be ACD?
If the Wednesday is a Friday, or if the Wednesday is a 5th, that should be a Saturday. So that's not. That's probably just another dummy.
'Cause I'm pretty sure GTS just says third quarter.
Yeah.
Let me check ACD. I have not seen it show up on Southern or Universal. Have you looked at either one of those?
It has not shown up on Universal. I don't have a Southern account, so we don't want to.
Oh, you don't get from Southern?
No.
Release date August 5th, according to ACD. Interesting.
Well, that feels pretty official to me. That's.
Yeah, all right. And that's what Joe said on the Spartan Training Ground. Now I got to look at GTS. What are you doing here?
Oh, that is. I haven't seen that image of that box. That's very cool.
The power card station?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see what GTS says about it. So much logging in.
It's the nightmare of a game store owner is having 40 distributors.
Yep. I try to buy from 4. Yeah, they just say August on GTS. Yep, August 2026. So ACD says it's the 5th. So we'll go with that.
That feels pretty.
Feels like a good one.
That's usually a pretty solid number. When they put it in there, that's usually a pretty solid number.
Okay.
I like it.
Hey, Josh, how are you? Checking in from Las Vegas. Ooh.
Very nice.
All
Very
right.
jealous.
Is that good work there, though, Josh? Is it worth your time being out there? Game Master says you can have work and fun out there. John says, I wish dates were less fungible for this product. I like Friday releases personally, but Wednesdays are okay. Yeah, John's store is not a comic store.
Right.
It's a gaming store, though. So there's a slight difference there, John. All of our guys coming in for comic books, we can hit them up on Invincible packs while they're there. Josh says plenty of fun to be had, even though I'm technically at work. All right. Martin says
That's Vegas, baby.
Martin says that's where we held an event back in March. Where, in Vegas? Who had an event back in March? Oh, Andrew says he spoiled an Adam Eve card.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yes, he did. It was the one where she could change the power grids or something.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I can't remember exactly what it is. Hey, Lawrence, how are you? And Andrew, the Goof says, I thought the Adam Eve card that swaps shapes had already been spoiled. I'm not sure. James says, no, Doug, they do need to replace yours. Honestly, it's nice to hear playtest cards are allowed to be held up to see how sets blend. Yeah, we have to destroy the playtest cards when we're finished.
Yeah.
Obviously, I shredded mine live on stream. And I know Corey shredded his. But we hadn't got to the Invincibles yet because we were just so busy traveling around and playing everywhere.
Yeah, and they hadn't told us. Like, we were instructed to do that for the Marvels, or the first ERB set. So
Yeah. And then they told us, hold on to those because you're going to need them for Top Cow.
yeah,
And now we're still waiting for Top Cow cards. That Cecil Ally card was new. That's a cool mechanic, and it'll join the Three Musketeers and Leonidas Universe rules change. Yep. No, Game Master doesn't have a Southern account either. I agree, you lost your test deck at my house, so you need another. Yeah, I do not have a play test deck from ERB. When I went to the big playtest event, I played Wicked Witch with Merlin and King Arthur
nice.
and Watson in reserve. I didn't do so well, but it was fun. Hey, Diego, how are you, buddy? James says, I'd love to see a stream about the playtesting process sometimes.
Oh, I'm not sure
I
we
would
allowed to
too.
talk. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. If we ever get back to playtesting, we'll figure something out. Game Master says, Southern is going to be a hard sell. Hopefully they change their minds after Skybound. I thought Joe said they had all the major distributors carrying it, though. Universal and Southern should have it. I don't know.
Who else? I mean, who?
The only other one would be Peach State.
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't have a Peach State
I don't either. I think those
unless you're talking also comic. If you're talking being able to get it through Penguin or through Lunar, but I don't
think either one of them does anything outside of print.
Yeah.
Magazines, comics, and books. So those
Maybe-
would be the 5 biggest distributors, I believe.
Maybe some of the full price guys, the Mad Owls and
What Magazine
Entertainment
Exchange?
Earth, Magazine Exchanges.
maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have it. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't fit there. I don't think it would fit there. Well, who else distributes sports cards these days, though, outside of?
Oh, nobody.
It's all just direct from
GTS
Topps,
and
GTS
Southern
and
Hobby.
Southern, yeah, have it.
But they only distribute Panini. So all Tops goes through Fanatics now.
So it's all through. GTS doesn't even have any Topps product anymore. Wow, interesting.
No, they've all lost that license, and Fanatics has it all. You got to apply for a Topps
We
account.
we talked about that as a
comic
store.
Yeah, you won't get much sports cards, if any.
Yeah.
But you can get all the Star Wars stuff and all the Marvel stuff. You should have check
Yeah,
into
need
that.
to- we talked about that, and I've not followed up with them on that. I need to.
I don't get a lot of it, but I'm like right where I need to be.
Yeah,
I don't get
everything
way
makes
more
sense.
than I can sell,
Yeah.
and I can usually sell through most of it. So, Martin says they played in Buenos Aires.
Okay.
All right. Andrew says non-numerical icons can be changed. So Wukong could suddenly block an intelligence icon or a combat instead. EFL can add to energy. Victory can shed all brute force cards in hand or avoid any icon. Interesting. Traffic says it'll be savage. Andrew says Cecil and the robot are both fighting for reserve intellect spot, both 21 threat now. Cecil I think Cecil was already 21.
Cecil was
wasn't
a lot in playtest. Yeah, he
Yeah,
was a very
seems like-
expensive, very cool. We all played with him
he? Yeah.
multiple times, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
He was one of the things to really was interesting to mess around with.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how that works. Sawyer says James, how do you even say that? Ethnology card
Oh, yeah.
is going to be even more essential at this rate? Maybe. I think there's going to be a lot of cards that affect remainder of battle, remainder of game. James says, I played an online game using the Walking Dead demo deck for being so poorly constructed. No teamworks and negative combat event and no vocation. It held its own. Okay. I can't wait to see how those two decks play head to head. Yeah, I'm not too excited about the Walking Dead characters. We'll see.
The flip mechanic
The
of the
walkers.
walkers is very cool.
Yes.
That is something that is very unique to the game now, and it's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of fun. So.
Until we get, well, actually, we'll get Felipe's flip card first.
Yes. Yep.
And his looks pretty monstrous. I'll be interested to see what that does. He does not show me anything that he hasn't released to the public.
Sure.
Except he did let me see the Redhead's character card a few days before everybody else.
Nice.
But that's the only thing that I have seen in advance.
Just your feedback that you gave him about it was exactly the same thought I had when I spent years trying to get 15 points of damage on Grifter so I could throw that attack, and I could never do it. Nobody ever attacks him, so
Yeah.
no amount of shifts and no amount of anything else would make it work. So.
Yeah. But I can't wait to see everything out of that deck.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool.
And by the way, if you guys haven't supported the Kickstarter, maybe think about it.
Hop in, check it out.
I did not look to see where we were at today. 93?
Well, so he posts, I think there was a post that they got another big, I don't know
Stretch
if that
goal?
was today. Yeah, I think they had 2 more stretch goals today. Another online-ish retailer bought in.
That I believe was Brandon.
Okay.
Yeah, and
It was a name. It was a website I didn't follow up to look at, but it was not something I had heard of before, which is great. So.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Brandon. He's been playing, and he was at PAX.
Okay.
And he's from the West Coast.
Gotcha.
So
Nice.
he flew clear across the country to be
Oh
at PAX.
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at PAX. Was it in Canada? I'm pretty sure it was PAX. They all blend together after so long.
Yeah.
And this is already on my list of things to discuss, so I'm just going to bring it up now.
Yeah,
We'll
let's
talk a
do
little
it.
bit about the Kickstarter.
Definitely.
There's only 3 stores that back the Kickstarter. You and me, and Robin's store.
Yep.
So no new Kickstarter retailers. There are 3 online retailers that back the store. One is Brandon, the other Game Master, and Larry.
Yeah.
So we're not
And
making inroads where we need to.
All of those are posted on the site on the Kickstarter too, right?
Yes.
They posted up each of their.
Everyone but Larry.
Oh, interesting. Why is Larry's not up there?
Well,
Let's see it.
Larry's is there, but he
didn't-
just
he
bought
didn't get a
just
special.
bought the retail one.
Oh,
that
he
was
just
there.
went in the regular retail.
He
one.
did
Gotcha.
not put in an order
Makes
request.
sense. Makes sense.
And that's because, well, maybe because he bought it real fast.
Real fast. Oh, for
And
sure.
then they said, "Oh, we'll
And then
customize one
they
for you."
customize it later.
Larry
Sure.
already had his
Sure.
in. But I did go back and look because I was curious how many retailers, and we're at 6 retailers total. 3 online.
Well,
3
unless,
stores.
or does it say that only one person is backed at the other retailer level? Then okay,
Yes,
okay.
it was only.
Because
there
it
was
does
only,
show the counts. Of
There was
that,
only
right?
one, and it had to be Larry.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So it was kind of easy to see who had done it.
Well, so I am not all that concerned about that as a thing. So we are as a store are backing way fewer things on Kickstarter than we did 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's reflexive of penetration into the market and what's at stores. Now, if we were seeing that somebody was showing that there were no pre-orders going into regular distribution models, that would be extremely concerning to me, right? So, but there is no other card game that I would Kickstarter right now than something like this kind of a project for something like
So
Overpower.
you have bought in at a retailer level on other Kickstarters, or bought enough that
most
you
definitely,
could put it
yes.
in your store?
So I used to do. There was a period of time where we were doing all of like the CMON Kickstarters through. We were doing those. We were doing. I would see a $1 million board game Kickstarter, and we would get in on it because those not only would they sell in store, but you could sell the day after release. After they shipped it to you, they were double what the cost of the Kickstarter was. You could just put 2 of them on eBay and cover your costs, right? So there was a period of time there was no issues with, there was no gambling to jump into it, but that has definitely waned. We've started seeing more and more of them fail, CMON as a company is 10 or 12 of them deep now that may never end up shipping.
Oh yeah,
from
they're
what,
not. They're
from
not
what you
going
hear.
to.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty wild in that
Yeah.
world right now. So
And you know, CMON, cool mini or not, is what that stands
yes,
for. The guy that owned that place walked into our store during Origins, went all the way to the north end of back to his booth, picked up about $300 or $400 worth of games, brought them down, and said, "You guys have been here all this time. I love your store. These are free," and just gave them to us, and it was just awesome. But then that company, he sold the company,
right,
and it just tanked.
yeah. And I think at the time when he was involved, it was a sustainable thing.
Yes.
It sounds like it was a sustainable thing, and mismanagement after that, or mismanagement that was occurring during that time, has shown up, unfortunately. So.
Right. There may have been some underlying reasons why he left when he did.
Right, yeah.
Who knows? But I have never backed a Kickstarter for the store
Nice.
until Overpower.
Until this one, yeah.
And well, the first one, ERB.
Right, of course. Yep.
Yeah, and now this one, I'm super excited to see Felipe stuff. By the way, Felipe, when you listen to this later tonight or tomorrow, I got my Kickstarter package today with all of my the Few and Cursed comics with the exclusive
nice.
Kickstarter covers
Nice.
and all that. I can't remember which Kickstarter that was because I think
That was issue 12, I think, wasn't it? I think mine
5?
might have shipped.
It's something 5. So maybe it was issue 12.
I think I just got my issue 12 notification as well. So
All right, so that must have been it, and it had
I believe that's what it was.
it had a beautiful chromium cover. It had a really nice Kickstarter exclusive cover, a black and white cover. There was probably 6 or 7 books.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of trinkets. Like I got a closing A pin of the redhead, which was really cool. It was well done. It was not cheap at all. A bookmark, a couple little miniature posters.
Some trading cards probably.
There was, 1 or 2 trading cards. It's the next one that's going to fulfill that I'm really excited about. I just went down through there and I said, I'll take that, I'll take that, I'll take
Yeah.
that, I'll take it. Next thing I know, I'd spent like $1,200, and I said, "Sorry, Felipe, I'm going to put that one back. I'll put that one back." But we did, as a store, back that one pretty heavily too. Guys, get in there and support Felipe, would you?
Definitely. Get in there, and if you can add a little bump to the Kickstarter, if you need an extra. Think about Christmas gifts. You got people you're going to be wanting to give
There
some
you go.
Overpower Christmas gifts
there
too,
you
or
go.
holiday gifts this year. Get ahead of it. So let's keep it rolling here.
And I liked what Sean put on Facebook. If everyone that's already backed it, which is a little over 400 people, just increase it by $100.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could
That would be
really
a
blow
huge
through
number.
this.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah. And I did notice, I know a few people that did go in and add the $100. But I'm a little disappointed with the Kickstarter, to be honest with you. I just felt like those stretch goals are for cards of characters that we don't even know if we're going to like them. Am I going to use them? It's not enough. There's not enough to make me want to go on there and spend another $500 to help the Kickstarter. I would love for Felipe to come up to me and say, "Hey, Doug, we just got this tier." And I said, "Yeah, I'll throw another $500 or $1,000 at it." As a retailer, and I pitched this to Felipe, and he said, "Hey, I can't approve something like that. You got to go to Ron." If there was a $1,000 tier, $800 to $1,200 even, that was a Learn to Play Day event for our store to host a Learn to Play event with some starter decks, something exclusive to give to the people who come that day to learn to play.
I love that idea.
I would throw $1,000, $1,200 toward it right now. So I did pitch it to Felipe. He said, "Show Ron." I sent it to Ron. I haven't heard anything. So I'm going to do it myself with
Right.
these decks. I'll run my own Learn to Play Day. But I just think, man, you want to add $3,000 to your Kickstarter overnight? All 3 stores, they're going to throw cash at that.
Yeah.
The online retailers, they can't. So
Right,
let's
right.
find something we can do for the online retailers
I
to
mean,
make them want to spend another $1,000.
give them the opportunity to have pick one card that's their custom promo that they're allowed to have their store logo on, and
Yeah.
they can get 500 copies of it for $1,000,
Man,
and
wouldn't
they
that
can
be
throw
awesome?
it in pre-orders. So I would also agree with you. There are, while I love a lot of what's happening with the Kickstarter. The communication is great.
Yep. Absolutely.
The daily follow-ups and things like that. They've done a great job in getting Felipe involved. He knows the Kickstarter, knows how to make it work.
Yep.
I think he's really landing the plane on that. I've never really looked at the financial mechanisms and how people operate Kickstarters, but if you have back to Felipe's comic Kickstarter, the more and more stretch goals get hit, it usually adds stuff.
Yeah.
You get more items, you get more tangible things. It's not all just treatments and not all just
We're going to
foil
foil it. We're
cards
going to
and
give you an
things like
alternate
that,
art
right?
card. Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more stuff, a little bit more unique, something unique.
Yeah.
Like how about we don't really have tokens or trackers in anything in this game, which is kind of one of the nice things. But how about a die, that can be used, a way to determine who's first player or something like that, or
Right.
a first player token or something like that. Just
Yeah.
some other bibs and bobs and things like that that just add a little more value and pushes people to spend that extra $100, right?
Right.
So
And I'm hoping the next Kickstarter is not as rushed as this one was.
Yeah.
This one feels really rushed. The delivery time is definitely rushed. Felipe was hoping for a little bit more time to fulfill it.
yeah.
But I would like to sit down with them before they launch another Kickstarter and then let them show me what they're doing, and then I throw ideas at them. Well, you want 5,000 out of me, do this. You want another couple grand, I need this.
Yeah.
And I mean, why no t-shirts?
That's a great one too, right? Why not? Why
Why isn't there a level
Yeah.
with a t-shirt in
with a
it?
T-shirt? 100%.
And you get t-shirts made really inexpensive right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And they don't have to last. If I wear a t-shirt for 10 years, no, not anymore. You know, I got enough t-shirts. I don't need it to last 10 years.
I have backed many a independent video game and things like that came with a T-shirt, and literally the thing fell apart after you washed it a third time, right? But I never at any point said to myself, well, I feel like I got ripped off, right?
Yeah.
It was what it was,
Right.
You know, so.
There are just so many more things
Yeah,
that
agreed.
I think if we had more time, Felipe could have come up
Yep.
with. I'm going to throw this one out here, and we'll let the chat see what they like about it. Oh my gosh, the chat is blowing up right now. What do you think about individually numbered, serial numbered cards in Overpower? What if we had a level, let's say a $500 level, where you get a card that's numbered to 5? 5 of them.
I mean-
Man, you just made $2,500
Yeah.
right there.
Yep.
And how much is it going to cost you to make 5 cards that are individually numbered 1 through 5? 1 to 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5. I've floated the idea to Felipe on a 1 of 50, and said, let's just say you're charging $100 for that one. Okay, you just made $5 grand. What if you do a 1 to 100 and you only charge half that much? There's just so much more we could have done.
Yeah.
Now, I know a lot of players don't like that uniqueness of it. They don't want a card that there's only 5 of. I mean, how many serial numbered cards are there for Magic the Gathering? When they we don't know, right?
Well, no, we do.
Are they
have
numbered
yeah,
of?
they have numbered nowadays, yeah. So, but they have tested all the waters. They have done sets where they had 40 cards that had 2 500s, and now I think the last couple of sets have had 1 card to 250 or
Okay.
something like that. So I was surprised that we didn't see it in set 1. I don't know why. I think it comes back a little bit to the conversation you had last week about having a game designer in the company and involved.
Yeah.
I feel like there may have been a missed opportunity with some consultation on what is the actual market for TCGs like today.
Yeah.
What does it look like? What are best practices? What is working well for companies that are doing it right? We think as that we like as retailers, that we don't like as retailers, who is doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Because everybody is just stealing ideas from everybody else and doing the same kinds of things, but they're working in very different ways, right? So it's, I would have put I was shocked there wasn't a serialized card in the first
Yeah.
set for ERB.
Me
I mean,
too.
it's,
I,
all it does is drive sales for collectors. And,
Right.
and even if it's people that we don't care to ever see come into an event or play at a game, if you had a card that was numbered to 100 that was only available there, eventually it's going to find its way to eBay, it's going to find its way to some collector,
Yeah.
and it's going to drive its value right now. So
There's a lot of people who do what you were doing as the store, investing it, bringing it in, and immediately putting it up for sale.
Yep.
There's still a lot of people that back Kickstarters just to sell whatever.
Yes, 100%.
They may
yes.
want the base thing that they get. Everything else is trivial to them, and
Yes.
they're going to sell it.
Yep.
I'm kind of that way too. I want the decks, and anything else above the decks is like, okay, if somebody offers me money, yeah, I'll sell it.
Yep.
But as a retailer, that's what we'd love to see.
Yes, 100%.
I know on Facebook I was posting, well, if he'd have done anything with King Arthur, he'd have got more money out
Yeah,
of me.
yeah, right.
If he'd have done an alternate art Lancelot and made him an 8 fighting, oh heck yeah! I don't care what $1,000 for that. Yes, for a Lancelot tier, I'll take it.
Now you can't do mechanically
unique.
things at those kind of levels, and I think
Right.
they know they
learned
have
that.
obviously don't want to be in that realm, right? They're not doing things. There's not a 5 copies of Eva Lancelot that has an 8 fighting
Right.
that exist out there that are tournament legal that everybody hates when they see it hit the table, right?
Right.
That's definitely not happening, and I don't
I
think
wouldn't
they
want a
ever would.
unique one. Right.
Right,
I want
yeah.
everybody to be able to play Lancelot with an 8
100%.
fighting. Absolutely.
You want a base level where players are able to get the cards for a reasonable price, play your game. That gives you a healthy base. That allows things to grow. That drives excitement in the next set. That's when somebody walks into the store and they see people playing the game, they ask what? They ask what it is. They want to play it as well.
Yeah.
They see people having a good time. They want to join into that. But then you also want to make sure there's that value proposition as well with this. We've come to expect that when we're buying these collectible type games, right? So
Now, why isn't there, of all the play mats that they have made, why didn't they do, in the Kickstarter, they could have even done a King Arthur play mat. To get
That
money
would've
out
been
of me.
great.
Heck
Well,
yeah.
I wonder if maybe are they saving them for event playmats now, because we did see the Texas
Billy the Kid.
Yeah, the Billy the Kid
Billy the
playmat
Kid, that's
for the world,
good.
which
Yep.
is amazing. I love
It is.
I think that was probably the worst kept secret / idea that's ever existed. We had to know that was going to happen for Chris, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. So
But as a joke, they could have even done the Burger King Arthur play mat. Guys would have bought it.
you would have sold enough of them for it to make sense, right? I would
Absolutely.
think so, right?
Yes.
Just as
'Cause-
100% as a joke.
Right.
We would be sitting here for a regional, and everybody would have their Burger King playmats out on the table, just where Doug walks in to see them, right?
Right, yes.
There'd be 100 people with Burger King playmats.
What could they have done to get another grand out of you? Or another large?
That's a great. I would think again. I think the incremental additional items would have been the thing for me to see some new kind of things that really were added at that higher level as we push through those kinds of things. Just some extra unique kind of things that were just available through the Kickstarter would probably have gotten there. As far as $1,000, man, yeah, I think it would have taken. The value proposition for me as a retailer is much different than for me as a collector player myself, right?
Sure.
So,
Could they got $500 more out of you with something?
oh yeah, most
there-
definitely.
is there a
I've
character that
already
you would've-
kicked. I think I kicked another 100 or 200 in, just adding a couple of things since I've taken some more pre-orders and things like that. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But could you, is there any player or any card in the set a character that you would like to see maybe revamped? I know Joe Peters would have jumped in really big if they'd have done a time traveler where he's only a 16-point threat level. He'd have backed that.
No.
No?
I really, I mean, it would probably be Deja Thoris or John Carter are probably my favorite are my favorite parts of the property, right?
Yeah.
So it would be something related to them. Maybe a whole nother piece of artwork or another Joe Jusko artwork or something like that.
Yeah.
I would have paid.
Okay.
A tier where we were able to get the original artworks from specific cards that were coming with that set. I think would.
Yeah.
I would pay an extra $1,000 for one of the pieces of artwork, right? So.
Right. And it could have been either from this set or ERB.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like I said, if they just had 5 or 6 of the ERB pieces as a tier.
Yeah.
To drive the
now
the
back there on our window is some of my favorite artwork of the set, like the Mina Harker,
definitely,
King Arthur Ultra Rare, the Mina Harker Ultra Rare. I love that Wicked Witch card.
Oh, it's awesome.
So if things like those would have gone up, into the Kickstarter.
I think the piece of art that I would like, I would like the Lancelot Ultra Rare.
Yeah.
With the big blood splatter. That's probably my favorite single piece of art.
I like it
in the game. So in the set, I should say.
You could put that up there for $1,000.
Oh yeah, I'd have jumped on that in a heartbeat for sure.
I don't want to spend too much money, but if they'd have put that ultra rare King Arthur art up there for $1,000.
I mean, it's a thing. Like, and we would put it in our store. I would have it framed and put it in the store, right? And it's a conversation. It becomes a conversation piece, and starts the question of, hey, what is that? And and that lets me point towards. It's like every time somebody comes up with an Invincible trade or asks me about where the newest issue of Battle Beast is, I get to say, hey, guess what? Have you heard that? If you love Invincible, you're going to get to come play as your favorite characters pretty soon, right? And it would be another way to start that conversation as a retailer as we're hand selling the game.
Having a piece of original art in there.
Yep.
And when we started talking about serial number, man, the chat rate went from 1 to 5 really quick.
Oh, interesting.
Then it jumped to 7.
Is it positive or no? Is it,
I gotta look.
Can we do a poll? You should put a poll. Do we do polls? Have you ever tried
I
doing
don't
a poll?
know how to do a poll on
We have to ask.
Nor.
Ask Nor how to do a poll. Yeah.
I haven't seen Nor pop in tonight. I don't know.
He's play testing. We know what he's doing. They're at home grinding games.
Maybe. I mean, Jessica and I spent all afternoon talking about Houston.
I love it.
And it's like, Jessica, what do you think about this deck? She goes, oh, I really like that one.
I
was
love
like,
it.
oh, okay. Because, Josiah, when I talk deck construction with him, he says, hey, Joe, this is what I'm thinking about. And he goes, I love it. I love it. No matter what I say. It's like, I'm going to run the Penguin and X-Babies and Heroes for Hire. I love it. I love it. But, Jessica, she'll tell us.
Yeah.
If we have a bad deck,
it's a bad idea.
I don't like that. I don't think that'll work. So I bounce ideas off of her, but there are ones I take to Corey first. Corey, what do you think about this? And if he says it's bad, I don't even bring it up to Jessica. Because
I love it.
It's so funny.
Corey to pre-screen, so we don't get we know it won't pass the Jessica test.
Right. If it doesn't pass Corey, it ain't passing Jessica.
And that it says something that you guys are still brewing new ideas, right? Out of a single set. How cool is that?
Well, 41 characters.
41
man.
characters.
There's a lot there. And then we're mixing in with Legacy right now, getting ready for Houston.
Yeah.
So on the Spartan Training Ground, they were talking about that a little bit yesterday, where there are a lot of ERB characters crossing over.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll be able to get a full ERB set to be competitive in the Legacy version, because the Legacy characters are just so much less expensive. The ERB stuff, the best characters.
I mean, have you guys play tested that? Have you taken like one of Jessica's or your guys' top decks and played it against a Cadillac or anything like that, just to just to play test it?
We haven't play tested it
Yeah.
because it's like nobody wants to be the ERB deck going
Fair.
against the
That
legacy
makes
deck.
sense. Makes sense.
Because we don't feel it'll work. Now, that's not the way we should be doing it. You're right. We should be play testing
Yeah,
it.
somebody should break it out.
Say, well, this, you can just, with the legacy game, Mr. Fantastic
It is.
for 17
It is such
points.
a different. Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
very
it's just-
different game. So
yeah.
you're exactly
Scarlet
right.
Witch for 17 points. It's like, come on. I love the specials at the ERB, but you got some characters have 3 Wumpa decks.
Right. Yeah.
And even in the legacy format, I cannot figure out how to get Tars Tarkas on a deck.
Yeah.
And he's 20 points.
Yeah.
And for 20 points, if I'm going to grab a legacy character, how about Zorro, King Arthur, or Nemo?
Right.
So it's not crossing over too well. But we are finding characters here and there that we think are going to make a good fit. I suggested a deck, Jessica, that had Watson in reserve. She goes, I just don't like Watson in the legacy format. I was like, well, he's just 16 points, and you got +2 to venture if you're playing 221B.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you can't place your activators. You got to give a little to get a little.
Right.
Do you want to place activators, or you want +2 to venture? So she may be right. The deck that I'm play testing tomorrow night, we're play testing all week, I think.
Nice,
I don't
nice.
think there's any night this week we're not going to be playing, other than tonight. And I thought Nor might come in before the podcast to play a little
Play a
bit.
couple games.
Yeah, he didn't. But we really want to get ready for Houston. And Houston looks like there's 15 players. There's 3 LRG guys who are coming that'll get us to 18. They always do last minute everything,
Yeah.
so we're not expecting them to sign up until
sign
they
up
show
ahead
up
of time.
Saturday. Maybe we can get them signed in Friday night. So we're at roughly at least 18. Robert said on the podcast last night they think they can get to 25 or 30.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's really good for Houston not having an event before. Well, I guess Carl ran one there, right? Last year. It's a transfer down from Oklahoma, so it's
Was he in Houston? He wasn't in Houston though, right? He was in.
Carl's event, wasn't it in Houston? Where was he at? Oh no,
No, they were in Oklahoma.
not Oklahoma.
No, they were in.
Were they
Was
in-
it Dallas-Fort Worth area?
yeah,
I think.
maybe that's where
I
it
think-
was.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think it was Houston.
We're moving around a little bit,
Yeah.
but still, we can get there. I think the least attended one's probably going to, unfortunately, be Brazil. There's not a whole lot
I
of.
want to go to Brazil. I want to go so bad.
Jessica
That
and
would be
Nora
so
went
good.
too.
Now we got 15 guys in Argentina that's got to come over from Buenos Aires.
There
sounds
you
like.
go.
Let's
Then,
go.
yeah, then that would probably give them more players than Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know. Houston's going to be good. The promo's amazing.
Oh, it's awesome.
Eh,
It's really cool. Yeah.
Felipe put it in our NAOL group chat and said, all right, guys, here's all the promos. Well, let's vote on what we want to do. And
Oh, so
at-
you
at
kind of got to
Houston.
pick? Did you get to pick for like
well,
OP
we
Cup
kind
and
of,
everything? Yeah.
well, we only did Houston so far.
Gotcha.
But
Nice.
the first one he showed, and I'm going to spoil it just a little bit, but it was the 8 combat card.
Nice.
And that's all I'm going to spoil, Howard. Don't worry, I'm not going to say what's on it or anything. I sent a private message to Felipe. I said, you can't do that one in Houston. That's your best one.
Yeah.
And there's not enough players that are going to be there to give that one out down there. And he goes, that ain't our best. And I said, show me the 8 intellect. And he goes, I'm going to show you everything. So he put everything into our group chat. And it's like, yeah, that 8 combat, it is not the best one. And it's like, okay,
I love it.
Columbus gets that one because that's the best one, and you want to put it where the most players are. And I actually got voted down on that one. So I still don't have one
Yeah, we still
assigned to
haven't been
Columbus.
assigned yet.
So I don't know what's coming. But the one that I thought was absolutely the best, every player is going to want it. It did not turn out to be reserved for Columbus.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Columbus is going to have the most players. I don't think anyone's going to beat Columbus this year. Seattle's going to try, and they'll give it a good shot. And Peacebridge may come close too, but the problem is you're not getting the Ohio players to those events.
Right. Yeah.
And we're already here. I mean, we're not going to miss the OP Cup. The only way I miss the OP Cup is if I judge it.
Right.
Or just totally run it and have a judge, something along those lines. So I don't, and I'm not trying to be big-headed or anything about it, but I don't think anyone will beat Columbus this year. So the best card should be at Columbus.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But I got voted down on it, and I'm okay with it. What they decided to do, they haven't announced yet, so Howard did not get
Well,
me
actually, I
permission
mean,
to
but
announce.
if just to be play devil's advocate, if you are trying to use the promos to incentivize people who are on the fence to go, having better ones not at Columbus might be the incentive to get those people to say, hey, I'll I'll buy that extra $300, $400 flight. Or make that trip, right? So
Yes.
maybe you should have got the worst one. And,
Well, I haven't got one yet.
haven't got it at all yet.
And I don't want the worst one
You're getting
because
the one.
Felipe.
You're getting the one brute strength.
There
It's
was
a guy holding a rock, right? It's got to have a rock on it somewhere.
There was one of the promos. It's like I don't even want that one in my collection.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I'll talk to Felipe about that one at some point.
Interesting. Well, how many events are there?
But there are 7.
So we're getting.
Well,
So we're getting the 4 8s of each color and 3 multis.
no, 4 7s.
Oh, we're doing 4 7s and 4 8s. Okay, interesting.
Man, I'm sorry, Howard. See how he tricked me into saying that?
There's already one of the 7s though. Oh, so it's 3 7s, or they're doing another 7 fighting.
No. There's a total of 4.
Okay, so we're
So one for each. There'll be combat, energy, intelligence, and brute force. 7s and 8s for each of those.
gotcha.
But there's a 9th one, okay?
This was not planned. Oh, nice. Is that? Do you only get that if you attend enough events, or is it a special one that's going to be good? Oh, I shouldn't ask.
They're gonna announce that real soon.
Okay, good.
All right.
We shouldn't spoil it.
I can't.
You're already in trouble.
Howard's probably already sent me a message on
Howard's
Facebook. Said, Doug, change the subject. When you guys see these cards, you're gonna say, "I wish I'd gone to every event."
But you don't have to go to every event. You just go to 4, and you'll get at least one of all of them, right?
Is 4? Is that what it was?
I think
4
you have
of
to
them?
play in 4 tournaments, right? And some
Playing
events
4, you
have,
get all 7.
I thought that's what we're doing, right?
Wow.
That was my understanding. Was that if you played in if you play in 4 events, and I'm assuming it's afterwards. You're just getting sent a full set of everything on
Right.
top of what you already have. So.
I don't think they're going to release all the images. They're just going to one at a time before each event.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, so nobody's going to get a full set ahead of time so that nothing gets spoiled. Okay, so that's. I'll have to
If
look.
that's not the case,
I'll have to look.
Yeah, if that's not the case, then I have to book a couple more events maybe because I thought I was going to get a full set
Like,
by just attending the couple of events that I'm planning to attend, right? So,
what ones you planning to attend?
I was planning to do OP Cup, and which I think we get 2 credits for that because we get to play in 2 tournaments, right? So.
Oh, are you talking? You know what? I'd have to go back and look.
Because I thought, aren't we doing a legacy and or no? I
We
guess
have
we're
a
just
regional
doing-
and then the OP
Oh,
Cup.
that is the regional that weekend too. So.
Yeah.
So I'm getting 1 credit towards that for that, and I'm going to. I want to go to Buenos. I want to go to.
You want to go to
I want to
Brazil?
go to Brazil bad, man. I really do. I want to do that trip so bad.
I will. Howard.
And I was working on another one.
Howard, are you listening?
Yeah, maybe Howard can chime in if he's if I'm talking out of sorts here.
Last year was Dallas, Ricky says.
Yeah,
I'm just skimming this real quick to see if Howard's in there, and he hasn't said anything.
He's probably knee deep in hockey. I get it. Playoffs are happening. Go Sabres. Big win last night. So.
His kids might actually be playing tonight. So a lot of
nice.
times he goes to the grandkids
Yeah.
events. And the last chat that I can see right now is they need to announce a lot sooner if the intent is to pull people off the fence. That's a
I
good
agree
point.
with that. Yeah, that's
John. Yeah, and James says the Grim Reaper is the 9th.
Oh,
No,
that would be no.
that would be freaking
That would
hilarious.
be funny.
And I'm kind of surprised they haven't pumped any characters in the Kickstarter as having the Grim Reaper. Because so many players have a hard time to get. Just back the Kickstarter, and you'll get a Grim Reaper.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think there's kind of a very Grim Reaper-ish type character in the stories.
There's not?
I think there
is.
Yeah, I
yes,
think so,
that's
yeah.
well. When I saw the image that I'm not allowed to talk
Yeah,
about
I mean,
until later this next week. It probably
Yeah.
won't be announced till next week. It looked like it could be.
Yeah, no, I think there's very much that kind of a character in there.
Yeah.
So.
You should have seen this chat exploded when we started talking about numbered cards. You should have seen the Facebook group chat explode when he dropped those images.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's
I'm
like,
sure.
holy crap! Are you kidding me?
I mean, I remember the first time I've been backing the comic Kickstarters for several years, and the art got me, man. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like
Oh,
if you go look at comics, if you just right now go and look at comics on Kickstarter, there's 150 to 200 projects.
Oh, at least.
And
I
I'm
bet.
sure there are tons of great people, creative people that are doing great things, but you can scroll through 200 of those and none of them will catch your eye in 99% of the time, right?
Right.
I remember the first time I saw it, and it was very early on. I was like, I was like, boom, they got me. Weird West and the art that doesn't stop, and I was in.
And a truly unique story too. Once you
Yes,
get it and
yeah,
read
very
it,
very much.
it's like I have never seen anything like this
Yep,
story before,
yep.
and the art just blew me away.
Yep.
And they're trying to guess what it is, guys. I've said more than I should have already. I'm just gonna tell you this: you guys should try to get as many of these NAOL events as you can,
Yep.
because these promo cards are amazing. I believe the non-foil cards were printed at a quantity of roughly 100, just in case there's a whole lot show up somewhere.
Interesting.
They're all going to be destroyed that aren't given out.
Okay.
The way I believe it is, all of them are coming to me that have not happened yet outside of Houston. Houston's going directly to Chris.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
I saw you mention that.
yeah, then the other 5 are coming here, and I'm going to hand them out to the promoters during the weekend of the regional,
Sure.
so that they can get them. At the end of each event, that promoter is required to send back every one of them that they don't give out as participation. We are not allowed to give out 2 to anybody. No, you can't have one for your buddy back home who couldn't make the trip. That's it.
Yeah.
If there's 32 guys show up, there's 32 promos given
copies,
out.
yeah.
Now, that number will be increased a little bit by, like you said, if you play in so many events, you're going to get a
Yeah,
complete
you get
set.
a set, right? So.
So that'll be maybe another 30 max, I would think. I don't think they're going to give out.
I can't. I mean, yeah,
That
that's
can't
the
be-
kind
that-
of number that I would expect of people who will attend enough events, right?
to
Yeah.
get it. And I'll look. I'll get with Howard and
Oh,
see
well,
what that
but then
exact
again,
thing is.
Last year I did not attend that many NAOL events,
Right.
and this year I'm trying to plan to attend that many.
To
right?
get those promos.
So maybe
Yeah.
there's enough people like me that are interested enough in doing it that it'll bump that number up significantly, right? So.
The foil cards, the same thing. They're going to give out 8. I don't know that.
The organizer even get one? They got to give the organizer one,
Yes.
right? Okay, good.
Each
I was gonna
organizer
say.
will get a complete set.
Oh, okay.
Not just a foil of his card, of all the promos.
Foil of everything. Excellent. Good.
So all of the promo cards are going to go up by 7 because there's 7 events.
Gotcha.
Each promoter will get one of each. But I don't know that the foil promos are going to be included in if you play an X amount of events you get. I think you can only
No, I
get the
think they're
participations.
non-foils. Yes, that was my understanding too. That
So there's going to be basically
15 foils.
15 of each foil card. And there should not be any more. Now, I've heard a rumor. I shouldn't be saying this because that guy's going to come down to Houston and clean up. You guys, it's worth it to come down just for that promo card. I've heard a rumor that the promo from Pennsylvania, which was the 8 Energy non-foils, are trading for around $200 a piece.
Which makes...
Which means that foil card has got to be $400, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
more,
$500.
I would say more than that. Yeah. How many players did they have? 35-ish.
31 or 32.
31, yeah. I would say it's $800 then probably for a foil.
800, do you think?
All right, there's a third of them or a quarter of them. So
Very few.
And the
And
collectors in this game that we have, I think there's some deep pockets floating around.
Right.
So.
And of the foils, there was 8 of them given out. Nor got one, and I've got one,
Nice.
and neither one of us are willing to trade one
Yeah,
of ours. So there's only 6 available
Six
right
potentially
now.
available,
Right.
right? So
And when you get another 7 sets coming to the market, I can almost guarantee that those promoters are not going to want to get rid of
yeah, I
anything
would
there.
think so. Yeah, right.
So they're going to be hard to get. I can see that 7 Combat being a $200 card after this tournament,
Well,
especially if 19 people show up.
yeah, yeah.
We're only giving out 19. It's like, holy cow. So, guys, if you're on the fence, come on down.
Go on down there. The interesting thing about Houston to me is that I don't think Houston is considered centrally located for
no.
that region, unfortunately for drivers. So,
Right.
like, I don't think we grasp how big we're. Everything's 2 hours away from us, right? We grew up in Ohio. Everything's 2 hours from everything else, and
Yep.
you just hop in the car and drive 2 hours.
It's not a problem.
When you're in places like Texas, it's
Yeah.
2 hours doesn't get you very
You're
far.
still in the
right?
middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's still
Yeah.
a whole different ball game.
And
So
There's not a lot of people as crazy as we are here in Ohio who will drive 8 hours, play a tournament, and turn around and drive 8 hours home.
yeah, we've made that Pennsylvania drive, that Philly
Oh,
drive,
Philly, yep.
So many times
Yep,
now.
going out
so,
there and playing Hero Clicks.
yep,
And
doing
Chicago
all
too,
that.
right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, John says 2 hours and you're still in Texas. You might not have even left the county.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's see. John says, hopefully I can get an extra Boston card for my event manager who'll be running the computer for 14 hours.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And John says his set's definitely not going to get sold.
Yeah, there you go. See, there's another one that's
You guys blew
not
up
going to
the
make the market. So
Yeah. Sorry, guys. You blew up the chat on me tonight. We're having a whole lot going on here. So I'm not actually. I don't think I can even go back and read all these.
we'll have to print out a synopsis and read it afterwards.
Yeah. Get a transcript.
Yeah, get a transcript this time.
'Cause, wow, that was more than I had planned. Game Master says maybe they printed some extra for damage. Yeah.
Well, I would think that would be the 100 number, right?
Right.
I mean,
That'll get.
expected.
That should fill it.
Nice
I don't think we're
75
gonna.
being the upside of an.
I can't
NAL
see them
event.
giving out more than 100 of any one card.
Yeah, that would be
If-
awesome. I would
yes.
love to see it.
I mean, if we get 60 players to the OP Cup, and we get 30 people who qualify to receive it by the amount that they played in, we're still at 90.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good number. I think they did okay.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm interested to see, were there any players in Pennsylvania who picked up the game because of ERB and were at the NAOL event because they've fallen in love with the game and have now gone back and reinvested in all of the old stuff, or were borrowing old stuff so that they could play in the event? What was there? Did it bring in any new players into
That's
the NAOL
interesting.
world?
Yeah, I don't know. We would have to ask
Yeah, some of his
Robin about
is
that,
Robin
but
or-
he can never listen live. He always tunes in
Yeah.
and listens to it later.
or maybe it's Anthony was there, right? Maybe he would.
Yeah,
Maybe he would have
I
insight.
haven't
He's
seen him in the
usually-
chat
yeah,
yet
he's
tonight,
usually
though.
on, so.
So, John said you guys did some insane driving for Boston last year. Congrats and thanks. John, we loved every minute of it. And now, outside of that one little incident when we ran over a dead deer that was already in the road, it was a good trip.
Whose car were you in for that?
It was a rental.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
it was
the
a
way to go. Right?
Yeah, and it was fine. It didn't damage the car at all.
Nice, good.
Corey was driving. He goes up over a little hill and he's come down and there's a dead deer laying in the road and a two-lane freeway, but
Yeah.
there's a car right beside us.
Get moving.
And guardrails over here, and because there's nowhere to go. And he just tried to line it up so that the deer went directly under the middle of the car. And he did a pretty good job, but it bounced. I was asleep. And it woke me up, and I said, "Did somebody just hit us?" And Corey goes, he just says, "No, I ran over a deer."
No.
Just like that. I say, "What do you mean you ran over a deer?"
Just Bambi.
Yeah, Bambi's mom, I think. It was pretty
It was
big.
a big one.
But outside of that, the trip was, the driving to and from was uneventful, and we had a really good time. So we loved it. All right, let's try to get back to our regularly scheduled.
I may have caused some issues there.
Yeah, well, it was fun. And hopefully some of you will decide to go back to Kickstarter a little bit more, right? We talked about the Anubis rolling last week. And it seems Josh Alexander's really not happy about the way that came out. And he's backed out of the Houston event.
Interesting.
And part of the
That's a bummer.
reason was the way they're not giving mats out to everybody, and he doesn't like the way the rulings are going, where we're going to have two sets of rules.
Well, I certainly think that the two sets of rules doesn't make a lot of sense. My 2 cents on it. I think I've asked it a couple other places. I think the Anubis card is unique, though, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's even in the Legacy world, there aren't other cards that are worded exactly the same way and that function exactly the same way.
Correct.
In my opinion, right?
Not
So
exactly.
If it's a situation where there is one, I mean, actually, it may be a genius design move, to be honest, because the lockout is arguably the most taken cataclysm in any character deck. So
Yep.
the fact that maybe there is one card that if you see that Anubis sitting across from you, you have to concern yourself with and play your lockout differently.
Yep.
There are going to be corner cases.
Yes, always.
And to be honest, putting small corner cases into design is probably a really good idea because it does help balance things out a little bit, right? But the two different rules that I definitely did not agree with that decision.
Man, I didn't see that coming from you. Siding with Dave.
I'm so disappointed I wasn't here last week. I had put together all of my good cop, bad cop arguments for it. So, well, I'm not sure I really sided with. The rules around that. We don't need a 10-step process to determine how that's a little silly, and I agree that somebody who has a little bit more design experience and rules writing experience might have been able to shorten that up a little bit.
Yes, a lot.
But again, I don't think that ruling being a one-off on one card with one character in this game in particular.
Right.
So it's not like Magic where I don't know anything about my deck when I sit down across from somebody. Mm-hmm. I sit down across from you, I see you have Anubis, I say to myself immediately, I can't play my lockout on a character that that Anubis card could sneak under it, and that's the last attack. I have to play it one attack earlier, right?
Right.
And make sure. I don't think the card itself is a problem. That section of the rule book probably could use a look at, and I definitely don't agree that we should be playing under two different sets of rules. That makes very little sense to me. So.
Right, and it is a one-off, kind of. Deja Thor's opponent's turn immediately ends, so Anubis wouldn't be able to go get that power card off the top of the dead pile or draw pile.
Yeah. But I think that's that is a mechanic in that exists in some other games, and the turn ending is a different level of effect that just exists. Like it exists in Magic, it exists in several other places, and like the Deja Thoris card says and we're not talking the entire turn. We're talking about one of your action turns that you have in a whole hand, right? Mm-hmm. So in Magic, for instance, it ends and actually ends your entire turn. So it's a very powerful effect because you can actually use that effect like that in a Magic game to stop a player from being able to do anything for a turn.
Okay.
It's almost a skip your opponent turn if you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
Which is extremely powerful, or an extra turn.
Yeah.
So it would be it could be like if there was somebody gets a special that says you get to take 2 separate actions in a row, right? You can play, you play this card, you can now play, you get to take 2 actions instead of your opponent getting a chance to. The amount of chaining that you could possibly do with something like that would be really, really tough to deal with, right?
Yeah.
If you were to build around something like that. So,
Yeah.
but that ending the turn, I think, is just it's a separate effect that is pretty clear in how it works, right? So
It's
that's
supposed to be.
yeah, but yeah, that's tough that Josh won't be down in Houston. That's he's definitely been a pillar of that southern region for a long time. So
Yeah.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, me too. I was really surprised. I said, dude,
Yeah.
you're still going to get the participation. You finish top 8, you can get a foil.
Well, I mean,
But
maybe it's something that needs to happen. Maybe somebody needs to stand up, and they need to see people not showing up because of something like that, and maybe it'll be a cause for some self-reflection as well. You know, and
Yeah.
so it could be a positive thing in the end.
I'm kind of like, I don't agree with the rule. I think if you don't have a target, because it's been locked out, you don't get to
Sure.
attack. But it doesn't make me think that the game's falling apart.
Right.
You know, ruling one way or the other. It's not my game. It's their game. We play by their rules.
Right.
All right. John and I both voted in the NAOL to not rule it the way the NAOL ended up ruling it.
Gotcha.
We're going to play by Dave's rules on this because that's what we said we were going to do from the beginning. We even got rid of our level 1 and 2 multi-powers because LRG
Right. Got rid of them.
got rid of theirs.
Yep.
We made our 3/4s 1 per deck because that's what LRG did.
Yep.
So, you know, just because we disagree with the ruling, I don't think we should say, well, we're going to follow your rules until we come up with one we don't like.
Right.
And then when you do that to us, we're just going to follow our own set of rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I like the way Dave had a 5-page explanation
Yeah.
for it or anything like that. I don't need Dave to give me a 5-page explanation of why he ruled it the way that he did. It's kind of like in HeroClix when the judge, every time there'd be a new judge in HeroClix, he would say,
You'd
well,
get
we're
an
not doing it that way
interpretation.
anymore
Yep.
because my interpretation is
Yep.
this.
Yep.
And we voiced our frustration,
Right.
but we just said, okay, that's the way it's going to be.
Yep.
And
you
that's
you lived with it, right? It was-
right.
And they would have a new rules arbitrator about every 2-ish years, right?
Yep.
We would see somebody new, and
Yep.
and they were some interesting individuals at times. There were some interesting times.
Yeah. And they always brought in their own interpretations, and it just changed the game completely every time. But we just went along with it and said, okay, that's the way we got to play the game. And the NOL, I thought, should say the same thing.
Yeah, that's how I agree. That's how I would have voted. So.
Yeah, and I think.
And again, it's such a corner. Like if it's a hill to die on, make it a big hill. I mean, this is one card.
Right.
That is anybody.
Nobody
was there
plays
going to be an
Anubis.
Anubis?
Right.
I mean, he doesn't even see play in ERB all that much. You
Right.
know, it's like
it's not worth.
no.
It's not worth everything
It's
that
not
went
worth
through.
the hill. You know. Learn from the generals of the past. Some hills are not worth it.
Yeah.
Let them have that hill.
Right. And Game
So
Master
you're-
said it wasn't 5 pages, it was only 4. Okay.
It-
Whatever, Raz.
I think that's one of the things I like about Dave, though, is Dave is thorough, and I think he has a vision of what the rules, how the rules work, but again, it's his vision,
Yeah.
and so anybody else could have a different vision. Anybody else can interpret things just differently.
Right.
And as long as he is going to be the person who's doing it for an extended period of time, which
Yeah.
I hope is forever. That would be great if it was forever. Hopefully Dave continues to love it
Yeah.
and gets to stay involved. Then if we have that consistency of that's what the outlook is going to be,
That's what
then
we
that's
want.
very fair, right?
That's all we can ask for, right?
Yeah,
is
that's all we can ask
consistency.
for. Yep.
The only real issue I had with it was when he made a rule in passing and put it out And it's like, okay, we can't make rules in passing.
It was a pretty interesting evening when he was a couple of his posts
Right.
on Facebook.
It's like,
so.
hey Dave, just say you get back to us on
Yep,
that,
yep.
and go figure it out. And come back in a couple of days.
I think he got that feedback, so I'm
Yeah.
sure he got that feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll be. But and I felt like the day that thread was blowing up, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of negativity in that thread, and I think his attempt to jump in there was just to try to quell negativity, which I think is a positive, well-intentioned.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes,
100%,
absolutely.
so.
Yeah. And just because you disagree with the outcome
Yeah.
really
Yep.
doesn't mean anything. And like you said, it's just one card.
Yeah,
We'll
100%.
work around it,
Yep.
especially since it's a character that nobody's playing.
And this game is a very different game than a lot of others
And if it
because
makes-
of the information that
And
you
if
have.
it makes
right?
Anubis playable,
That's the
more
thing.
power to Anubis.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's
If
like
that's a small tweak that makes it something that sees play, then that's one more character that's
Right.
out of the 40 or whatever that's getting played, right?
Like
That's
how
great.
many players, the current players right now in the ERB, the modern game, said, okay, maybe I need to take another look at Anubis
Yeah.
now.
I play tested Anubis for my Columbus regional deck.
Yeah.
In the reserve, and it didn't. In my playtesting, I didn't use it didn't come up enough as the card that let him play other people's specials.
Yeah.
I didn't see it often enough. I didn't see it when it was beneficial. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, but it didn't have the punch that it needed. So I went with cards that were designed to stop shifting, and I didn't draw any of those when I needed them either. So, but that's how the game works. That's
Right.
another thing. It's how it works. Right? So,
And I think Anubis is a strong frontline character.
Yeah.
And that card that lets him play KO teammates, I would not play that. I would play Anubis on the front line. I played him with the Mummy and Hercules.
yeah.
And it was fun. It just lacked a little bit.
Yeah.
Hercules still died way too quick. But yeah, if it makes Anubis playable, more power to Anubis, right?
Well, I think another thing about that's so different about the battle sites are just so different. Like the defensive ability that you have out of the battle sites makes it so much easier for you to take a character and just play it for some smaller offensive purposes,
Right.
because you're gonna get the value in 99% of the cases, right? So
Yeah. And yeah. I miss battle sites. I miss them so bad.
yeah,
And Ricky says, I've only ever made 2 modern decks, and Anubis is in one of them.
there you go.
All right. That's awesome. Uh-oh. John says now Discord has moved on to debating Barsoom. That's interesting.
What around the
Oh, I got you. Game Master said it really was 5 pages. He was being sarcastic. Said it should have only been 4, but
It was. But again, I think that's the kind of person that you want in that role, is someone who is able to analyze and has that kind of thought process, right? I mean, I don't think about things that there's very little I think about that way, in that depth, in that.
right.
So.
Hey Brian, how are you? Sorry guys, I am just like so crazy behind on the chat, and I'm not even going to try to catch up. But I did see, what is going on with Barsoom? What are they debating about Barsoom? Have you been in the Discord lately to see anything like that?
I don't spend too much time in Discord.
I don't either, and when I do, it's the Ohio channel,
Yeah.
which, you never did it. You never got anybody into your Ohio channel. We created a channel just for your store.
I'm not in there. I need to get in there more, I guess. You know how hard it is to do the amount of social media I do as it is, man? It's brutal.
All right. Since nobody wants to tell me, I'll go look at the Discord later.
Somebody will pop it up.
Yeah, they will.
I can't even think of what. Is it something around the rest of the game language for the?
I don't know what it could be.
Around, because Barsoom's the one. Barsoom is. The stat changes are permanent, right?
Right.
Then
It's not
that's
remainder battle. It's remainder
remainder of
game.
Is there another part of it that I'm? There is a lot of text on that card.
Oh, Andy says something here. Barsoom is because they're discussing ways to make the fetch easier to verify and prevent cheating. One of the ideas is changing the fetch to reveal.
It should be. All fetches should be reveal.
Yeah, and that would be an easy fix, right?
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
Anytime you go get a card, you have to reveal it. I don't like that part either. It is easy to cheat. How do I know you didn't go get it?
I didn't think there was. Does it? It doesn't require. Does it let you search for anything that lets you search for a specific type? Anything that's not just search deck for card should require a reveal. If it's an effect that says you get to search your power pack for a card, there's no reason to reveal it. It's one power card from your power pack, right? It's always going to be a thing. But if it's you are only allowed to search for a character special, or you have to verify that that's what you're getting, and you're not just going and getting some other character special, right?
Right. But they're saying with Barsoom, you can go get a power card usable by that character. How do we know you went and got a power card usable by that character?
Yeah, you should have to totally reveal that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, anything that is more than search deck for card should have to require a reveal.
Right.
So. I wasn't aware that there was any.
I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah, I thought they had pretty much. We even the draw 4 cards, Cataclysms require a reveal, right? I thought we would lock that in. So.
Yeah, and out at PAX last year, a lot of guys were using the 1 per deck to avoid one attack made with a special draw 1 card.
Yeah.
Or draw and reveal 1 card.
Yeah.
And a lot of
people
guys
weren't revealing it.
They weren't revealing it because they don't play it that often,
right. Yeah.
And nobody was catching them not revealing it because they don't play it that often, and nobody really realized you were supposed to reveal that.
I do remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, I don't. There's no real discussion there. Like I said, if in any game,
right,
that exists, the language is. If you are not searching for just a card, that's anything beyond that, you have to reveal it. It just makes perfect sense. So.
Gemini can go get any card.
Correct.
So
Gemini, you don't need to reveal.
Right. And if they grab a dupe, you should be able to catch that when they play the same card twice in the hand. But you'd have to remember if he played it before Gemini, and then he went and got another one, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But.
Especially at the higher level tournaments, though, like that would be a pretty big mistake to make. That would be if somebody's doing that, they're doing it on purpose, right? That's not going to be a mistake type situation. So.
And then
you wouldn't know if it was a dupe anyway. If it's still in their hand, you don't know it's in their hand when they pull that card back, unless they end up playing it.
The whole hand out, yeah. And then they're supposed to reveal at the end of the hand, so it's like, you still got one of the, you played one.
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy. I think at these bigger events, when we get to the top 8, there should be a judge watching 2 games at once.
Live.
Yeah, he should be. You should have 4 judges, and you watch. You just stand there.
And actively judging, I think is the term, right?
Right.
If they see an illegal play made, they stop the game.
Yeah.
And say that's not okay. That's not illegal. We need to resolve this situation.
Right.
Thing, right? And there need to be warnings if it's happening more than once.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's supposed to be a way to track warnings, and I don't know.
Who has been issued a warning? Has anybody ever been issued a warning?
Oh, they've issued a lot of warnings.
Have they? Okay.
Yeah. But nobody has kept track of them.
Yeah.
And that's something that James said that he's going to get implemented at some point.
I think
if
the
it hasn't
tournament software does it for you, right?
Top Deck does now.
Yeah, Top Deck does. So.
Yeah. But your head judge needs to be the one. He has to be the one putting it into the system. We're not going to self-report warnings, right?
Well,
I might report that you got a warning, but I'm not going to report that I got one. But
I hope I don't. Man, if I ever get a warning, give me some caffeine, because it probably means I'm just a little tired that day. So
right.
Hope, right.
Jessica and Sean Fleshman both got warnings for not maintaining game state because of an event was in play, and they played like there was no event, and then all of a sudden they remembered the event.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you're giving out warnings for that, huh? So Yep, Jessica's
But it
got
makes sense. I mean,
Jessica's
that's-
got a warning and I don't.
Yeah,
So that's
you
one
gotta-
good thing I got over her right now, right? She went 8-0 at the Nationals, so she's got that over me.
That's that. I think stuff like that starts to get you into like yellow card versus red card type situation, right? There's different degrees to what a warning is.
Yeah.
Like purposely searching for a dupe card in your hand to play it twice is a little different than
That's
forgetting
blatant.
about an event being in play.
Right, that's blatant. For
especially
sure.
if both players are ignoring it and forgetting about it.
Right.
You know?
You don't warn them both. You just
Yeah.
say, dummies, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, Jessica, I didn't say that out loud. Oh. So have you watched the new season of Invincible?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Have you seen all the Overpower ads that are on there?
I have not.
Before and after
I
and
have
during?
not.
You haven't seen those yet?
Unfortunately, I have not seen the ones that were discussed last week where they were popping up on social media for another game that's coming out as well.
Universes?
No.
Universes is going to have Invincible decks.
Are they? I have not seen that.
You didn't see that?
No.
It's not going to be a booster. It's just going to be
decks.
the decks, which they do once in a while.
No, I think I was seeing something else, some other game or something like that. I was not aware that they were also getting the Universes starter decks.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of Universes in the store, so that's interesting.
We have a very hardcore, small group
Universes.
of universes.
That's cool.
And when that becomes up for order, I got to get with those guys and see how many they want.
Yeah.
But we do sell a little bit of universes. I think we sold like 32 boxes of that Godzilla set for universes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Those
I
guys
did a little
loved it.
bit of the Critical Role stuff, and we've
Yeah.
had some of the starters come through. I did well with the Godzilla starters when they were around.
Sure.
So, but yeah.
The Critical Role sold really, really well for us too. And
Yeah.
everything else, it's kind of like I asked my judge, "Hey, Brad, what do you think about this?" Well, I really like that, and Josh really likes that. The other guys, they're just like they're going to want a box
So
or
you
two.
know, get a couple
Yeah.
boxes. Yeah, that's
So he does a really
that's a
good job.
healthy thing for a smaller game community like that.
Right.
you know,
So I don't usually get stuck with too much, although I didn't take his advice on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I thought, man, everybody's going to want to play that game. Said no. Just like with Magic.
Well, I was going to say the problem is there's also the Magic set. What?
Yeah.
2 months later, a month later.
Yeah.
So, but no, I have not seen, unfortunately, an awesome Overpower commercial. And I wonder what it costs.
I don't know.
I wonder what it would cost to run the season finale when it releases. There are 3 commercials on my Amazon when I watch an episode at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
They're 15 seconds. How much does that 15 seconds cost for them to?
That would be interesting.
How cool would that be? The
Yeah.
finale episode, one of those 3 15-second slots at the beginning say, Overpower,
Invincible,
Walking
Dead,
Dead,
Skybound, whatever.
Skybound,
Yeah.
come and get it.
That would be crazy.
How awesome
Now,
would that be?
Joe did say on the Spartan yesterday that they just finished up the animated commercial.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
there
maybe-
is
So it does
Something
exist.
coming.
When I did see, I think today the ICV2 article
Yes, I
came
saw
out.
that.
So that's one. They've got a pretty decent social media reach in the gamer community. So.
Yeah. It's still kind of funny that all the announcements go through ICV2 and not through Overpower.
Yeah.
And their social media themselves, but
It's reach, I think. And, I mean,
yeah.
they've got a pretty ICV2. People come in and I hear people talking about things that are announced on ICV2. So
Okay, it's pretty big.
yeah, it's got a decent reach, I think. So.
And Joe said when they put that Invincible 7 into the magazine,
yeah,
that it really got a lot of stores' attention.
interested. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he said in the next issue they have either the back cover or the inside back cover with Invincible or with Skybound.
And I think we are getting, if I'm pretty sure that we are getting the stores that attended Gamma are getting some amount of, I believe, starter decks from LRG. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I dreamed that up.
In the Gamma box?
Yes, I believe that they're sending starter decks to all the stores that attended and qualified for the Gamma box, which is 300 to 400 ish type stores.
Yeah.
So should be getting a level of product that they can put out on the shelf. I believe that's, and again, I thought that was true, but
Okay, well that.
I didn't get them yet. We got our first box and they weren't in there.
Oh.
And I was like, we're getting 2 separate shipments. So,
Yeah.
but I thought that it was something they said they had done. So.
All right, let me know because I obviously didn't attend.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of frustrated with Origins right now because I've sent emails to 2 different people about.
I have also tried to follow up with people and have not heard anything right
There's-
now. So, but I'm getting a bunch of emails about weird voting stuff at Gamma and all that stuff. So who knows what's going on in the
Yeah,
office right
and
now?
it's like, yes, I have a voting membership in Gamma, but no, I don't ever vote
I don't
because.
either. Yeah.
Uh,
Even though I do know a couple, I've met and become acquainted with a couple of people who do those kinds of things and run and are, but they don't need my vote, I don't think. So.
and a lot of them come into the store during
During
Origins,
Origins, yep.
but that's the only time I ever see them.
Right.
You know, and they don't, even when they come over for lunch, because some of them will eat lunch here
Right.
every once in a while,
Yeah.
and they may like walk by the door and wave, and
Yeah.
that's about it. But I'm not sure if I have a booth at Origins this year or not,
Yeah.
because I had told Paul McGraw, I said, I'm not going to run any events. I want to focus on my store for this one, and I got some stuff I want to sell, so I want to make sure I have a booth. And he goes, we're just glad to have you involved in any way that you want to be involved. And that's where the email just ended. And so I emailed him and said, hey, I haven't seen anything about booth placement or
Yeah.
anything this year. Do I have a booth or not? And no reply. So then I reached out to Doug. I can't remember his last name. Starts with Sapali or something like that.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Doug, I haven't heard anything. Did I miss the sign up for booth? I said, I know last year it was free. I said, I'm not asking for a free one this year. If you want to give me one free, I'll take it.
I'm asking
But-
for a free one.
but I will pay for one if one is still available. And no reply from him
Yeah.
either.
I
Which
feel
is,
like this time last year we were like we were going through that weird process of picking out booth spots.
that's what
right?
I was thinking too. Because
So,
I mean, we're already in
and that's-
April,
yeah, I
and
was
it's in
gonna say-
June.
I was gonna say I thought that was
So,
already locked in. at
I
this
definitely
point.
missed it. And if they come back and say, Doug, sorry, we're sold out.
That would be a
Sounds like
great
I'm gonna
that would
get
be a
mad.
great problem for them to have. I
Right.
think.
And I certainly wouldn't get mad that I didn't get one
Yeah.
because it's like $1,400.
Right. Yeah, it's not cheap. So.
Yeah. And
But it is also a thing. I mean, it isn't impactful on your store. It's actually great for your store, right?
Right.
But the
Just
rest
have-
of us stores in Central Ohio get very negatively impacted that
yes,
weekend. So.
yes. I
it's
can
always been
only
a good
imagine how
program.
much money they
Yeah.
suck out of
Yeah.
the local Columbus stores.
Yeah.
Because everyone's, and it's not just that week, because people are saving
Correct.
up
Yep.
the weeks
100%.
previous,
Yep.
and then the weeks after they done spent all
They
their
don't
money.
have any money. Yep, 100%.
So it's tough. And I don't know, at one time I thought Origins would be mad at me for the amount of money I suck out of their vendor hall. But there's so much money in that vendor hall. They
That's-
don't realize
I
the
think so.
little bit that
Yeah.
I get,
Yeah.
they don't even miss it.
I found it was a very interesting. I got sick on like the Thursday night of Origins last year.
Oh,
If you
no.
remember, do you know? Oh yeah, dude. I
I do
got
remember
that 24-hour flu, lost my
Yeah.
voice, and like it was absolutely miserable. So I didn't get to do anything fun, and even with that, we sold some stuff, and we were mainly there pushing, just talking to people about Overpower. That's what I wanted to be there doing, right?
Yeah.
And grabbing every local that I hadn't seen in 6 months that I always bump into at Origins and
Yeah.
make sure that I saw them and said, hey, what are you doing? Let's come out and play. Let's talk some Overpower kind of thing. And lost my voice, but it was very interesting to talk to a couple of the people who were around me about how they did and things like that. And it was interesting. It was some very good, some very bad. One guy was really upset about his art that he was selling or wasn't selling, and then I was like 3 booths away from, I think, Miniature Market, which was basically just blowout stuff was all that they had. And
Oh,
so
boy.
and they were blowing out people's stuff that were in the exhibit hall. And so there was arguing about that at one morning. So
Well, there is
It was pretty
an
interesting.
exclusive list.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Exclusion list. Some
Yeah.
things you're not allowed to sell for less than
Yep.
MSRP.
Yep.
They got me for that one year. I bought stuff off of our buddy over in Pennsylvania. Can't remember his name. He always came with closeout stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And he wasn't going to be there. He said, "Hey, Doug, let me sell you a bunch of this stuff real cheap. You pay me after the show." I said, "Okay." And I had a board game that I was buying from him for $7, and I put it out at 15, and the manufacturer was there. I said, "That's on the exclusion list. You have to charge MSRP." I said, "I have to charge $49.99 for that?" They said, "Yeah." I said, "You know what I paid for that, right? Because I bought it off of," and I told him who I bought it from. And I said, "You know what I paid for that?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm not going to sell it at $49.99. Nobody's going to be able to sell it at $49.99.
Right.
And
you took it up to the store and sold it for $15, I bet, right?
I did. Yeah. I got so mad. I said, "I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull every one of these off my table. I'm going to take every one of your games off my table. They're not all on the exclusive list." I said, "I don't care. I'm pulling all your games off of my table."
Yep.
And you know where my store is? It's right here in the building. I'm going to take it all down there, and I'm going to put them out at $5 each. And I don't care. And I'm done with you guys. I'll never buy another one of your products again." And they weren't happy with me, but they didn't let me keep it on the table at the discounted price. So I did. I pulled it all back to the store, $5. And guys would come in and say, "Holy cow, you know what they're asking for this in the store or at the show?" I said, "Yeah, full retail." I said, "Don't buy it. Buy it from me for $5.
Right here.
I sold every one of them that weekend, and I'd never bought their games again. It was Mayfair games.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm done with you guys. That's ridiculous. You close out a product 3 months before Origins and then tell me I have to charge full SRP for it. I was hot.
Yeah.
That was probably the maddest I ever been since I opened the store at something like that guy. He wasn't happy. And he went and got his boss.
Yeah.
And said, "Look, I think you ought to let him." She said, "It's on the exclusive list. He can't do it." And I said, "You know what I'm going to do, right?" And she says, "What?" I said, "He told you what I'm going to do, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." And I did. I poured it all out.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny now, but boy, I was so hot. I don't think I went back to my booth all weekend. I let Josiah run the booth the whole week. I said, "I don't even want to go in that room." So, anyways, is there anything left on this list that you wanted to bring up specifically? We're looking at an hour and 40 minutes already.
The one thing that I don't think I mentioned, I think I've mentioned it a couple times in passing, was the concern about tournament legal cards being printed in different places, and I certainly hope that Overpower stays successful and that we never get to the point where people are making counterfeits, and that there's enough money floating around that counterfeiting becomes a situation. But I do have some concerns about these cards being made and printed in a different place, and hopefully they've tested it and they're like enough, and having different paper, having the same paper is enough that it works, and maybe the machines are the same. I guarantee you they're not going to be exactly the same. There are going to be differences, right?
And Carta Monday probably uses something a little bit better than some of these smaller printers could even afford.
And I would think that the process that they're using is affected by a 1 degree temperature in the air that day, and the elevation that it's being done at, and those things are not going to be the same print run to print run to print run, right? And so I do have a little bit of concern about that. So.
And supposedly Ron went to the printer last week
And checked in on everything.
Yeah, the one that's going to be printing, I guess, Felipe's stuff, because it's not Carta Monday's printing Skybound. And I haven't talked to him afterwards or not, but I guess he's happy.
Yeah, and again, I think this has been a fast process. Maybe in the future they're able to, if we do another something like this, it can fit into the Carta Monday schedule type thing, right? So
and that's another great point. If there's going to be another Kickstarter in 2027, let's start planning it right now.
It should be. They should be putting it on the schedule right now. Right? I agree 100%.
And all of the tiers don't have to be announced, or nothing needs to be announced. I mean, we don't have to plan that in depth, but let's get the project. Let's find out what it's going to take to get. And this sounds, Andy just said Doug is ruthless, and this is going to sound ruthless too, but let's figure out how we can get as much money out of every player as we can with the Kickstarter, because that's what Kickstarter's all about, right? It's
Well, I mean, the Kickstarter is about getting eyeballs to the game, right?
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, if they're not, I mean, I don't want companies doing Kickstarters. I don't like I'm the guy that goes to Gamma, and I'm turning into Dennis, which I'm sure you know, right? You know, if you know, I'm talking about comic book wise, but I'm turning into Dennis, that I'm the guy who is standing up and asking the question at the end of some of these companies' presentations and saying, hey, I love that you did a $10 million Kickstarter, but you know, you're sitting in a room with people who would have really benefited from having that $10 million in their pockets, and versus you putting it directly into your pocket through a Kickstarter. And the constant answer that they still give is, it's a tool we used for promotion. It is the best way we found to advertise our game and to drive people to want to desire the game. And so I say, okay, you keep saying that every year, and I will not ask follow-up questions. But again, if we are using this as a promotional thing to get a very small property, like a very small but worthy and deserving and amazing property like The Few and the Cursed into this game, and that's what the goal is, I love it. Let's keep doing Kickstarters for it. It makes a lot of sense to operate this way. But 100%, not only this year, get it on the schedule for 2028, 2029, 2030 as well, my friend. Let's get 5 years worth booked out. And let's do it. So.
When this one ends, come September, I don't want to hear about another Kickstarter that's going to go up in January.
100%.
You know,
yep, 100%.
And it's like, whoa, where were we at in between the last 6 months, 7 months? Why weren't we discussing it then? They need to come back to you and me and Robin and these online retailers that they know right now and say, what can we do for you through this Kickstarter?
100%.
And the more they do for us, the more money they get, the higher their Kickstarter goes, and we're all happy.
Yep.
I know we talk about how Kickstarter promotes games. What was the one? Brother Wise Games. They did the dungeon.
Dungeon Boss Monster.
Boss Monster.
Yes.
The boss. They did the first one.
Yep.
And they announced the second one, and I said, "Hey, I see you're doing another Kickstarter. Are you looking for some backers?" And they said, "Oh, no, thank you. But we're doing the Kickstarter because that is the best way we found to promote our game."
And again,
it's not because we need to raise the money; we need to raise the awareness.
And again, I hear that argument, and that's generally the argument that they get to make. But like, the RPG folks, the D&D players in the group, I'm sure they've heard of the Cosmere role-playing game tied to Brandon Sanderson, who does $20 million Kickstarters for paperback fantasy novels.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing that as a Kickstarter. That product does not need to be Kickstarted to drive. He just needs to say, I have an RPG coming out, go buy it from your local game store. Here's a list of local game stores, and we would all see a flood of people coming in ordering it from us.
Absolutely.
Right? That's usually the companies that I really have a problem with. So.
This is so hilarious. James knows the exact Dennis, Michigan show guy, and he names him. It's like, yeah, James, that is definitely who we're talking about.
He was just causing a big problem a couple weeks ago in some comic show again. Oh man. I've been told he has a podcast that is absolutely funny. So.
It is hilarious.
Is it? You know it?
I stumbled across his podcast once, and I watched it. How to open up a comic book store for under $30,000.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and it's like, Dennis, are you serious? What are you? I came into work the next day, and I said, Corey, Jessica, you guys have got to watch this guy.
Oh.
I said, Corey, you know him. We've done a show in Michigan, and he's been in here before. He stops in whenever he's in Columbus. I said, but this is hilarious. He's telling people they can start a store for under $30,000. And he tells them, buy Beanie Babies. It's like, what? yeah, you're only paying like 50 cents a piece for them. You throw them out for $2 or $3. You'll sell a bunch of them. It's like, oh my gosh, Dennis.
He's a wild man.
Yeah. He's got another one that he does with a couple other guys.
Yeah, where they talk
Jesse
about kind of
James.
new release comics and stuff like that. Yeah,
Not near as entertaining as the
yeah,
one he does
no,
by himself.
Yeah.
His store, he opened a second store.
Yes.
And he said the second store is full of stuff that I couldn't sell in the first store.
Yeah.
First store.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't do new comics.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a
He
doesn't
does
have a
in the
dime in his
original
shop.
store, though, right?
No, I think he's out on both
out
now.
of new comic completely.
Yeah, I don't think he does new comics at either store anymore.
Okay. That may be. I haven't seen him in years. I haven't seen him since before COVID, I know.
Yeah. Oh, he's still.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
He's still kicking. He's still doing well.
He's
still,
hilarious.
He's great.
Yeah, he's definitely entertaining.
I hope I never get to the level where people are like that publishers are talking about me.
Yeah, really.
Like the Diamond. Like I've heard Diamond folks talk about good old Dennis. So.
Yeah. And Ricky says, I love me some Boss Monster. You know, Corey and Josiah play tested that game.
Oh yeah. Yep. You guys were had or ran their
We
booth
partnered
there
with
that
them.
first year.
Yeah, and they went up to the bar, the big bar at the Hyatt, and sat and played with one of the brothers.
Yeah.
And they played all night. And he was literally grabbing the cards. Corey or Josiah would do something. He says, that's not supposed to be that way. And he'd take the card and he would write on it the way that it was supposed to be. They had so much fun with that.
They're a great company. Those guys are excellent. They're now publishing that Cosmere. They're the ones that ran that Cosmere.
Oh, really?
They're the ones that published it. So,
okay.
I gave them the business. They were not there. They now have flunkies.
Sure.
They're big. I mean, they did a $20 million Kickstarter. They have flunkies.
Yeah.
Now, so they have employees. So.
I don't even remember their names.
It's Matt and Brian, I think.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Is it Frame? No, that's somebody else.
I still have one of them. No, it's Johnny. One of them's Johnny. Right? I have one of them's phone number.
Yeah.
From when we partnered with them.
Yeah.
And then the other brother didn't come that year, but I saw him the next year, and he came down to the store and introduced himself. So we kind of stayed in touch for a few years after that, but then kind of drifted.
Yeah.
I'd go down and wave to them at Origins, and that was about it.
They're a big deal now.
Yeah, they're great guys.
They don't go to the show anymore, or they don't do the shows anymore. I don't think.
That's awesome.
They're too big. So.
Yeah, they've grown it that much just from one little game.
Getting in with Brandon Sanderson was the big thing. They did the Mistborn deck builder last year, and it was a huge success. And then this year they had the Cosmere RPG.
Wow. Johnny still shows up. I think it's Johnny's last name starts with an M. I think Mick something. But anyways, he still shows up on my Facebook. People you may know once in a while, but I've never sent him a friend request at any time. But yeah, great guys. Like them both an awful lot.
Well, yeah, they're definitely people who I'm happy are successful. They definitely deserve it. They made some great games, great fun games, and great fun products, and deserve their success for sure.
Corey and Josiah still talk about sitting up there playing that game with them, with Johnny. It's pretty amazing. Well, we almost did 2 hours, which is what I did last week without you. So, would we have done a 3 or 4 hour show last week?
We probably would have.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah. Raz, Game Master saying making margins $2 at a time. Do you know how many Beanie Babies you have to sell?
But that's selling comics.
Well,
that is selling comics, right?
It is.
And we're not buying them for a quarter, unfortunately.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But
the Beanie Babies thing is pretty ridiculous.
Yes, that was.
I don't even know where do you find them anymore.
We still get calls
do
once
you?
in a while out of the blue.
I've not had a Beanie Baby call in a while.
Oh yeah, once in a while somebody will call, or they'll come in and they'll say, "Man, I got a bunch of Beanie Babies back at my house." I said, "I don't want them."
It's wild.
But I don't even know. Technically, we're not a comic book store anymore. We're a game store now. And we tried to convince ourselves we were a comic book store.
Yeah.
And so we started doing the numbers. And we looked at 2025. It actually started when Topps sent me a form to fill out, and they wanted to know how much do you sell and everything. And Topps, if you're listening, I apologize, but I made up some numbers. And I didn't know. And I wasn't going to take the time to do the
Just sit and
research,
look,
pull it
yeah.
all up in the software and all that stuff. And after I turned it in, I came into work to Corey, and Corey's a numbers guy.
Yeah.
He is like strictly numbers guy. I said, Corey, Tops had me fill out this form and that questionnaire, and I didn't honestly know the answers. I was just kind of making it up. It's like, what percentage is sports cards in your store? Oh, 2%. I don't have any yet.
Right.
What percentage is comic books? Oh, like 80%. What about gaming? It's like, well, 30%. Oh, wait a minute, I'm already over 100%.
Right.
So we sat down and we mapped it out, and it's like over half of our sales is gaming.
Yeah.
So
And mostly TCGs, right? I mean, mostly trading.
oh
cards,
yes,
right?
yeah. And
Because
at
you
one
guys don't
point,
really do the
I
boards,
guess the
games, and
first
stuff.
time we did it, it actually came back really in favor of comics. I said, oh, we really are a comic book store. And then Corey said, well, that's what I thought too. But then I remembered that we didn't put these into their own category, so they're kind of like in this other category. When you take that out of the other category and put it into the gaming category, we're not a comic book store anymore. It's still the best way that people recognize us as a comic book store.
Sure.
And when they come into the convention center and they ask for directions, they always say, where's the comic book store?
Yeah.
You know, even if they're coming for gaming,
Right.
they're asking where the comic book. Sales wise,
Yeah.
it's not even close anymore. I'm still pretty proud of our comic book sales.
Yeah.
But it's how some of these other stores around town survive on comic book sales
Yeah.
just blows me away. Because there's a few of them that
Well, I don't know.
do gaming.
I was gonna say, is there any? I mean,
Um,
I don't know, maybe we shouldn't talk about that
Okay.
online.
not
That's a
on the
good.
air.
That's yeah. Maybe that. I don't know. Maybe that's an offline discussion. So.
But I actually love our store and the way it's developed, and
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Well, I think
that
that's
much.
the big important thing about this business, right? Is you have to be able to grow and. But this store does
Yes.
not look anything like I think what
not-
you imagined when it first opened. Right?
Not anywhere
Yeah,
close. No.
not anywhere close, right?
Nope.
You
And
find what your market is, and you have to, and
Right.
that's any business, I think, too, right? But yeah,
We've knocked out a wall and expanded, and then of
Yeah.
course this whole room back here is just. And I'm kind of, John. Thanks for listening, but I'm going to read your last message that you sent after you said you were leaving. Pandemonium started as a bookstore that sold some games, and for the last 10 years, 80% of our business is games.
there you go. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks, John. Thanks for tuning in. We fluctuated. James says your video game section is small but strong, but even that used to be 3 times what it is now.
yeah,
So everything, we just try to go with the flow.
yeah.
But I still like to convince myself it's a comic book store because that's what it was when we opened, and that's what I really wanted to open. But I'm having a lot of fun with the gaming too.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Stefan, thanks for coming this week.
Thanks for
Sorry,
Thanks for inviting me back, even though I failed to make it last week.
sorry
so.
you weren't here last week.
No, yes,
it was good.
It's always a fun time to come down.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of comic stores, I don't know if how many local folks we have, but I did want to mention that I don't know if you saw, but Gibb locally, we lost a real legend in the comic store
Yeah.
world here in Central Ohio yesterday or the day before, and little shout out to Gibb and Laughing Ogre Comics, one of the great stores here in town, and his passing was definitely a tough one to hear over the weekend. So thoughts and prayers with his family, and go get screened for colon cancer if you're of age to do it. That was his big message. So make sure you're getting that done.
He had almost a 2-year battle with it,
Yep.
and then it came quick though. Then came quick.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Right?
So, anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming. You're
As
welcome
always,
here
good to see
anytime. You don't have to wait for an invite. Feel free to invite
So
yourself.
just pop in, huh?
I think next week I'm going to try and get Corey, Nor, and/or Jessica to join me. Next Tuesday we're going to record our pre-tournament video
was
of
gonna
our
say, we
decks
gotta-
and what we hope they do.
Preview for Houston soon.
Yep.
so.
And then when we come back from Houston, we'll upload that one and then do another video about how the deck's actually played.
I love it. I love
So
it. I cannot
it's,
wait.
yeah, it's a lot of fun doing that. So that's one way.
If you're on the fence, go to Houston.
Go
It's
to
good.
Houston,
I'm
guys.
sure it's going to be the venues. I've not actually been to the stores, but I've met the people who run them. They run top-notch venues. You guys are going to be taken care of. I think it's going to be awesome.
I am a little disappointed that we won't be at Dragon's Lair on Saturday. Dragon's Lair couldn't get them in, and they're going to do Dragon's Lair on Friday and
Right.
another store on Saturday.
Yep.
But I was looking forward to going to Dragon's Lair. I'm not going to be able to make it because we're getting in so late on Friday now. But I can't wait to see what Chris has got going on. It's
Yep.
going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, Josh. He says all the best in Houston. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button on your way out if you haven't already, guys.
Most
Thanks so
definitely.
much.
Thanks.
Have
Have
a
a
great
great
week.
night.
Let's see here. Go. 20 likes.